There's now. Can you hear me? It's got the mute on. Oh well, how's everybody doing? That's good. Well, I'm not sick today, so that's good. It's always good news. Yeah. So how's everybody doing? Come on, I've got something really cool today, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be a happy message. Can we be happy for a little while? All right. The past few weeks have been kind of like talk about our issues, and we talk about, the stuff that nobody wants to talk about, and we have to address those things. Did anybody actually do the experiment and just write, get alone and get quiet and get still and maybe write some stuff down, or maybe even just realize some things about yourself? Maybe you didn't write it down. Anybody? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. Cool. That's good, and it's good to address things sometimes. I mean, it's sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's it's a rough road, and sometimes it's hard. It's not what anybody wants to do, really. Sometimes, so most of the time anyway. But we have to do it. But now that we have all that out of the way and we have our issues solved, or at least recognized or addressed, we can move on to something else. So I'm going to be in Matthew 18 today. So if anybody has a Bible, and I'm going to basically kind of teach off of an idea of one verse, or talk about an idea off of one verse, basically. So I'm in Matthew 18, verse 2. If anybody wants to follow along, it says, Jesus called a little child to him and put the child among them. Then he said, I tell you the truth, unless you turn from your sins and become like little children, you will never get into the kingdom of heaven. Does anybody ever really put any real thought to that? What is he saying? What does he mean? What's really going on there? Does anybody ever does it mean you got to be full of energy and annoying and say mom and dad a lot? I mean, what's he really saying? I tell you the truth, unless you turn from your sins and become like little children. What is it about being like a child that gets you into the kingdom of heaven? And I have this idea. A few weeks ago, I shared this with Seth a while back. A few weeks ago, I was I'm in Walmart stores and stuff a lot. And you see it, we all see it all the time. What is it about this toy when you're taking your kids down, you avoid the toy aisle if at all possible. But if you get close to it, what is it? It never fails. A child will see something and, oh, Mom, I gotta have this. I've gotta have this toy. What, do you see it? It's like their whole world just changes all of a sudden, and what is that? Huh? Innocence. But what else? I think it goes deeper. Huh? Excitement, okay? And joy. See, we're like a class now. Passion. What else? Unrelenting focus. That's good. See, you guys are smart. What is it okay, when this child sees this toy or they see this thing, say it's a truck. For me, it was I was fascinated by when I was little, tractors and 18-wheelers and trucks and all this stuff. I just had to have it. I had to. And what is it? What is it? And I started thinking what is it that makes a child want to throw a fit if he can't have it? And what is it that creates so much excitement? And like the wheels, because like, okay, here's the difference in us and that child. When that child sees that toy, it's like a gateway into possibilities, into what just the excitement of what might be around the next corner. That just joy and just, oh my gosh, all these things that we can accomplish with this new toy and this new life and all the fun we can have and all the, it's like there's an unlimited amount of things. We can roll the car on the wall and we can use it for all the things that it wasn't made to be used for. They just have this imagination, like it's like it opens that window to every possibility of life and fun and fulfillment. And I relate that to, I remember the first time in the Psalms it says, taste and see that God is good. Taste and see. Do you ever get a taste of something and it is good? Not cake. Yeah. I'm talking about like you experience something with every sense and every emotion and every, like, this is good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get like this feeling, like for me the first time it was in here, and I think I was standing against the back wall and the sound booth and stuff wasn't back there. You could stand along the wall if you didn't want anybody to notice you were here, and because it was behind everything, and I remember standing back there and actually for the first time, like, I felt it, and I got a taste of God. I've got a taste of the presence of God and the feeling and the love and the forgiveness and the mercy and all that. And oh my gosh, it was like, oh my goodness, like, oh, all the things that we could do. You see where I'm going with this? It's like my mind all of a sudden changed, and all these things, all these possibilities and excitement and everything that I didn't know what was next. I was excited about the possibility of being surprised, of what was next, of what could be, of what could come, and what could happen. Like, I just remember that moment where everything changed. Just like that child. And then sometimes, I'm getting ahead of myself. I gotta stop. But we get that. And then what happens? Someone says, that'll never work. Can't do that. And then we get hurt. And then we get crushed. And sometimes sometimes we'll get things, we'll spend all our effort, all our energy, and we'll pour every bit of ourselves into something, and then it'll blow up in our face. Spend money on things, and all of a sudden it's destroyed, or it goes down the toilet, and then you're like, I'm not sticking my neck out there again if I'm just going to get shot at like that. Then something will happen and we'll catch a new wind or something, and we'll do it again. I have no doubt that God places desires in our hearts when we become one with Him, that He places desire and passion into our hearts and into our lives for a purpose. And my purpose may not be the same as your purpose. It may have a similar outcome, but there may be a different way that you go that I'm not designed for. Wes may be able to talk to someone that I may not be able to talk to. I may not be able to relate to. I may not know how to explain it. I may not know how to say anything. I've never been there, man. I have no idea what you're talking about. But when God places something inside of us, it's like a fire. It's like a fire, and it starts burning, and we want to. We go and we get out there and we start going, we start trucking along. But then the world says, "No, man, he's new. He ain't got it yet. He'll get it. Don't worry. It won't take him long. That fire will go out. He'll figure it out. It won't work here. It won't work there. You can try it. Trust me, it won't work." Just because you tried it and failed may not mean that the next guy will fail, because he may be actually designed for this and you may not have been. And it may not even be failure to begin with. It may be a redirection in the path. But what happens is we get offended, we get mad, and we take it as though someone has turned on us. And what we do is we step back, we cross our arms, and we become another spectator. And all of a sudden, all of that passion, all of that drive, all of that fire, all of that fuel is extinguished. All of the joy. Somehow we lose the ability to get caught up in the wonder and awe of God. Somehow we lose the ability to be surprised. Somehow we lose our passion. And we give up. We step back. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. There's no use in it. And we take rejection and we bottle it up, and we take these things or whatever, this hurt, this where everything blows up in our face, and we take it as rejection, and then we bottle it up, and guess what? Now we're back to where we were 3 weeks ago when we were talking about how to lament and get that stuff out. So it becomes this cycle. This cycle that it's like we can't get out of. I totally got off my notes. I think I got way ahead of myself. But it's okay. There's, like, I write all this stuff down. I was telling Howard the other, like, I write all this stuff down. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Yeah. We got 4 pages to cover here, guys. Okay, so it's gonna be no. I write all these things down, but like I feel like I don't ever get to go over them, and like I have all these thoughts down, but I don't get to go over them and like actually learn what I even said to myself sometimes. Because like I get so busy during the week and everything's going on that it's like I can't get enough of it around my head myself. Does that make sense? Like I want to show you so much, but at the same time, like I don't even have it. I don't have my head wrapped around some of this yet. Like, I mean, so how am I supposed to? But sometimes when I start talking, and I let God take over and let God talk, you know. But that's what we do. We let our minds flip from the wonder and awe to this, what we call reality. And we try to take things into our own hands, or we take control, or we start putting limits on what God can and can't do. I don't have the money. That's never going to work. But we can take steps into the direction that God's calling us. God said, follow me. He didn't say, good luck. Let me know how that works out. He said, follow me. What is it about a child that when that child sets their mind on something, like my kids, like it blows my mind. I may have done this, I don't know, but they can take crayons and like it's like people and like everybody has a name and they're like playing out all these scenes and they have all these things. Or we can be at Chili's or something and they've got the forks and the knives and they're like, and like the imagination, the possibilities, the things that they like, the creativity, it's like, but see, we just see it as a fork. We won't even allow ourselves to let God in enough to think what we can achieve. I just sell Dr. Pepper. That's it. I'm just a mechanic. That's it. No, you're a tool. You're a tool. You're an important part of the machine. Only here will you ever see that or hear that. I'll be here all week. You're an important part of, I don't even know how to say it now. Somebody help me out here. Yeah, you're a big part of what God's doing here on this earth. Every one of us. We have the ability, not through ourselves, but through what God can do through us. He tells Moses asks, so who should I tell him who you are? And God says, I am. Smarty pants. I am. Because see, he is the I am in the I'm not. And I'm not. Everything that I'm not good enough for, God is good enough for. And if you'll let God in, and if we will submit to Him and to His will, those desires and those imaginations, the imagination and the possibilities and everything that we start seeing and everything, it can come to life. It's not up to someone else to tell you what you can and can't do. It's what God puts inside of you. We all have something. We all have it. We all have something. We all have a passion and a desire for something. Like, I love music. I love music. I'm not the best musician, but I love music. I mean, I choked on my gum on the first song. I thought I was going to have to throw up. I mean, there's all these things. See, that's what we do. Like, there's so much I want to do in music, but like I have this block. It seems like. And you have the same thing. You have that something that you know, this passion, but man, I don't even know how to start or where to get, what to do, or I don't even know. Somebody in here has something big that they want to do, but their holdback is money. Like, I can't afford to even start. Well, if money is what's holding you back, then first of all you got to figure out what are you doing with your money that's not lining up with God's will. Okay, you're spending money on something that you shouldn't be spending money on, or you're not tithing, you're not giving to where it's supposed to go. So that's why you never have the money to do or to take the first step in what it is God's been telling you to do for the past, 2 or 3 years. So money's been the holdup, but it's not the money that's the holdup, it's what you're doing with the money that is the holdup. So you're just justifying it for not doing God's will. Wow. I don't know. I mean, so like, I want you to understand. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know who that's for. I don't know who that is. But you've got something that you know you're supposed to have been doing a long time, but you're not doing it because you don't have the money. But it's because the money's not being spent right. So that's that. Okay, now I have to figure out how to change my mind back. And it's the same thing. It's going to be the same principle with anything else that it is. Like if you feel like as though you're designed to teach, that's great. But there's things and steps. There's a protocol that God's going to set in place, and if you don't follow that protocol, it's not going to work. Just so you know, it's going to backfire, or you're going to overstep your boundaries, and God's going to shut it down completely. So like if you to teach something, you're getting involved in things that don't have to do with this that you're wanting to teach. So as long as you're involved in this side, you'll never be able to fulfill the calling on this side. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so there's that. And there's a lot of stuff that's kind of vague, but that's how it works. Okay, we can follow Jesus. We can follow God's plan, and we can put ourselves into the path that's going to lead us to where these desires want to take us. Or we can keep flirting with other things or other people that's actually going to destroy the whole thing to begin with. I mean, before we even get started. So, and sometimes it's our friends, it's the closest people to us that will tell us that'll never work. We all had something that we wanted to be when we grew up, and someone probably really close to us said, and then what are you going to do? What are you going to do when that doesn't work? And I know how that is. Everybody else probably has had something similar to that. But here's the thing. Here's what I want to get at. I just didn't even get it. This was not even my message today. It has anything to do with anything I wrote down here. But this is what I want to let you know today. Maybe we'll pick up some more next week. What is it that you know, deep down, you know you're designed for? That you're not. You think you're putting it as a priority, but you're not, because you're not following God's way to do it. You flirt with God's way versus the world's way, and you kind of bounce back and forth and try to do both, and you know what I mean? It just kind of doesn't work. But that's the thing. We have to rediscover. We have to figure out where, like every single one of us in here is guilty at becoming the spectator. Because we've all been burned. We've all been hurt. Somebody's turned against us and walked away or said, that'll never work. Good luck. Come back next time. or whatever it was. And let me tell you what happens. What happens then, it's like this little layer of hardness goes over your heart. And then you'll do it again, and you'll get hurt, and you'll get burned again. And then that layer gets a little bit thicker each time. A little bit thicker, a little bit thicker. And then before you know it, we've completely shut down all the wonder and awe and joy that God can give us. Because we put expectations in people. We seek affirmation in people and not in God, not in Jesus. We seek approval from the wrong sources. See what I'm saying? So we've got to get this because we have some ground to make up. Because we're all guilty at becoming the spectators. Me, for sure. And we cross our arms and we sit back and we think, I'd warn them, but I kind of want to see how this turns out. That's what we do. And we love it when people fail because we want to be like, told you so. Why? Why is that? That's not cool. And I don't think that's the way Jesus ever operated. So why do we operate that way and call ourselves Christians? So now that I don't know how to close, because I had all that planned out here, but I want to leave you with that. I don't want to go any farther. I feel like that's what we need today. Don't be afraid to rediscover that awe, that wonder, that surprise, that joy. What might be right around the corner, we don't know. But that's the exciting part. And I remember being excited about, like, I couldn't wait till next week because I was excited. I didn't know what was going to happen. I felt it, and it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like my chest was just going to rip open or something. Like, I remember being so excited about what was next. Like, it's okay to be excited. It's okay to not know what's next. We might as well get excited about it and quit moping around about it. And I'm guilty-ist of that. I'm the most guilty. I don't know how to say that, whatever. Like, I'm good at moping around about something. I'm good at getting in my own head. I'm good at letting the laws of the world or the earth define my dreams, instead of defining my dreams as what God's telling me and what God is placing inside of me. I have something else. I don't know where it's at. It'll take me forever to find it. I think what Jesus is saying when he says, follow me, I think he's telling us to return to that childlike mindset. Now, there's a difference between childlike and childish. That's what I was going to talk about today. The difference in childish and childlike. So we'll touch on it. We got a little bit of time. 30 seconds. Childlike is what we just talked about. That wonder and awe, that surprise, that imagination, that overwhelming joy of what could possibly be next. Childish is a stomping of the feet, a cross in the arms, because it didn't go our way the first time. Because they didn't give me the approval that I wanted. There's a difference between childish and childlike, and we all are guilty of it. We can cross our arms and we can throw our fits and we can blame everybody else. We can stomp our feet and we can lay on the floor and cry and roll around. But at some point, we still got to get up, suck it up, and keep going. I had something else on that, but whatever. Childish is a posture of the heart. That's what I had. Childish is a posture of the heart, and it's that posture. It's when you let those layers of hardness take over in your heart, and you cross your arms and you stomp your feet, and it becomes, obviously not a God. Because at that point, it's because our plan didn't work out. If we're being childish over something, it's because our plan didn't work out. We weren't following God's plan to begin with. So we have to take the selfishness out of it and put the God in front of it. And we have to follow. Jesus says to follow me. And I put those two together because I feel like that's it. He says to follow me. And then he says you have to become like a child. And what is it? When we become like a child, we capture that wonder. So that's it. I'm done. That's all. We're going to stop there. We got to rediscover how to wonder, how to be happy, how to be excited, how to have that joy, how to not let those voices around us tell us and control what we can or can't do or can or cannot accomplish. Let those desires in your heart be exciting. Okay? Let's do that. Let's be excited about what's next. Let's be excited about what's to come. God is always working in the new, okay? God is always working in the new. And so we have to be excited about what's new, what's next, what's coming. We don't know. And if we knew, it'd be boring. So let's rediscover. And how do we rediscover? I know that's the question. How do you rediscover? That's a good question. Say it. Surrender yourself. That's good, see? That's good. Surrender. It means to follow. It means to follow. So let's do that this week. Let's follow Jesus into what's next, into the new. Can we do that? Can we go? Can we follow Jesus into the new, into tomorrow or this afternoon or whatever it is that he's wanting to do? And this is just an observation. I feel like God has been doing things around us this whole time. But we changed our posture, so we missed it, and we only caught the things that we, would normally not see. The ugly, kind of. And I think if we realign ourselves just right, like, you got to get OCD with this, big time. When you're aligning yourself with God, if it's off just a little bit, you got to fix it. You got to line it up just right. I think I'm right there. can't tell because that back there is not even with this up here. So now we're really messed up. But that's it. See, like it's like we say, "Oh yeah, I'm following Jesus," but like we're swerving all over the place. But we get messed up if the stairs are a little off, or the seats are a little off, or I do. I'm sorry. So let's realign ourselves and let's really analyze. Let's figure out what is it that we're holding on to or that we're letting attach to us that we shouldn't be letting attach to us. And let's readjust and let's fix ourselves and let's get in this line that's following Jesus and let's do it right for a little while at least. And let's get caught up in the wonder and joy and let's quit getting caught up in all the garbage, the mud, the yuck. Yeah. So let's do that. I figured y'all would be more excited about that whatever. I'm excited about it. It gave me hope this week. It gave me hope. It made me think, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe we're just so focused on what's maybe not going just right that we're missing all the good things that are happening. So let's readjust our minds. Let's readjust our thinking. And let's get caught up in the wonder and the awe of God and what He can really do in our lives and in our community and in this church. All right, there we go. Stand up. I'm going to pray. We don't have Kitty had to leave, so we'll have any music. So that's what we're getting to get today, just teaching. If you need someone to pray over you or something, come talk to me, Seth or Howard. You know who we are. Come find us or one of us, and we'll pray with you individually if you need to. Sam's back there as well. I don't think Brandis is in here. Stephen and Julie are in here with us today. That's awesome. And that's good to see them in here. So yeah, if you need anything, you can always find one of us and we'll pray over you or pray with you and whatever. And this week, let's focus on that. Let's focus on realigning ourselves. You ever driven a car that's out of line? That's bad. I did that one time. Whew. Yeah. So let's fix that. Let's work on that. Let's work on ourselves and figure out what we got to do to really realign ourselves. Tuesday night, we have a prayer meeting. Okay? And it's pretty good. You never know what's going to happen. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. Yeah. We've been lamenting a lot lately, so come to the prayer meeting if you want to join into that. It's like one of the reality shows or something almost. So, but it's cool. It's good. I feel like we're making some progress and we're gaining some ground in there. So we're doing some good. So anyway, so Tuesday night we got prayer meeting. Other than that, I'll pray over us real quick. Have a great week.